Hello everyone, in this video you will learn how to import saturation or relative permeability data step by step in Geomodeling software. All products in Geomodeling share the same database and same UI of data importing and exporting. Geomodeling software allows users to import saturation function files. These are relative permeability curves for oil and water as the function of water saturation. The saturation files can be used for multi-phase upscaling in aspect modeling workflow. To import saturation function, you need to go to the Template Manager at the lower left, and then you can find the model templates and the saturation function templates folder, and then right-click on the saturation function templates and select Import Saturation Function. Then you can select your saturation file. It's a common ASCII file. It can be a text, data, or CSV file. Then you can click Open. So in this page, firstly, you need to set importing range. From the preview at the bottom, we can see the data starts from line 2, so we should specify the importing range from line 2. And if you have any invalid value, you can check this checkbox and enter the invalid value here. And we need to set correct delimiters to separate the data. And then if in your data file you have some double quotes, single quotes, or other symbols, you can check this checkbox to avoid importing those symbols. And we can define the column names if it's automatically defined or it's the same as last used. And for unit names, this is normally for importing completion data. So in the preview, we need to specify the columns name for each column to import the saturation data. For example, in this case, in our file, we have the capillary pressure, which is PC, and you need to set the correct unit. And the second column is the water saturation, so we select SW. And the third column is the relative permeability for water, so it's KRW. And the fourth column should be the relative permeability for non-water, which is the relative permeability for oil, so we select KRO. So to import the saturation function, you need at least these 4 columns, or if you don't have the capillary pressure, then if you have the J function, you can also import that. But you need at least the SW, the relative permeability for water and relative permeability for oil. The other column, it can be the capillary pressure, which is PC, or it also can be the J function. Then after you specify those column names, you can click OK to import the saturation function. It pops up information says that the values for capillary pressure will be converted and displayed in Pascal to use in aspect two-phase upscaling calculation. So if your capillary pressure is not in Pascal, then it will be automatically converted to this unit. Then you can click OK. Then you can find the saturation function is imported and is saved under the saturation function templates folder. You can right-click on it and open its properties page. So in this properties page, you can see the data type. So these are the data we imported for this saturation function. And you can also see the graph view. So this is the graph view for the relative permeability curves as a function of water saturation. This is the relative permeability curve. You can also change to the capillary pressure curve. So this is the capillary pressure curve as a function of the water saturation. You can also see the data view. So this is the spreadsheet for the relative permeability of water as the function of water saturation. You can also see the oil relative permeability as a function of water saturation, and also the capillary pressure as the function of water saturation. If you import the saturation function by J function, you will see the J function as the function of water saturation. So in geomodeling software, we already have few saturation function templates within the software. So you can open its properties page to see those properties, including the relative permeability curves and also the J function as the function of water saturation. You can also see the data view for the water and oil relative permeability and also the J function. If in your data you don't have the PC curve, which is the capillary pressure, but you have the J function, you could also import using the J function. You can right-click on the saturation function template again and import saturation function. Then select the saturation file, and the importing range in this case is starting from line 2. And from this spreadsheet, you need to define the column for the SW, permeability, relative permeability for the water and relative permeability for the oil. And the fourth column is the J function, so it's JOW instead of the PC. So you can use the drop-down menu to select J function for this column, and then you can click OK to import the saturation function. So you can right-click it, open its properties page to see the graph for the relative permeability and the J function, and also you can see the spreadsheet view for the data. So for saturation, in summary, you can import it using the PC function, or you can also use the J function to import it. This is the end of the video of importing saturation function file into geomodeling software. If you have any question, please send message to support@geomodeling.com. Thanks for watching.